Well, you might be wondering, if you saw the last video, can I judge somebody else? Well, here's the thing. Are you squeaky clean? Have you done anything ever? Do you have all your stuff together? If that answer is no, well then no, you can't. If the answer is yes, well then yes, you can. Hi, I'm Reverend Kevin, and this is Wisdom Fragments, and we are going to go over some fragments of wisdom from the Gospel of Matthew today. So I want to tie this into this thief on the cross, because the thief on the cross was not a good guy. He was terrible. He deserved to be on that cross. And here's the thing. He got to go to heaven because Jesus said so. So are we supposed to judge him for this? Yeah, many people do. They can't handle that grace is given to somebody that doesn't deserve it. It's all about worthiness. It's like, who is worthy of being saved? And that's not up for you to decide. And the thing is that that's basically what you're doing when you're judging somebody, is you're deciding, are you worthy of grace? And it's not your decision. It's Christ's decision. And I think the problem we have is, I'm going to go on a limb and say 99% of the time, grace is given. I'm not going to go 100%, but it's pretty close to 100% grace is given. So a lot of people can't handle that. So let's read what it says in Matthew. But before we start, I want to make sure that everybody understands the concept. So when you're pointing your finger at everybody, it feels really good. You're righteous. You're on your high horse. And like, I'm better than everybody else. And this is what God is seeing when you do it. See these three fingers? Where are they pointing? They're pointing at you. So that's what I need you to look at while we look at this today. Do not judge, or you too will also be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take that speck out of your eye, when all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will clearly remove the speck from your neighbor's eye. So here's the thing with this. Sometimes you think you are super righteous and that you have all the answers. And then you think you're helping, but you're not. You're butting in and you're not understanding the full story. And that's really the main problem, is you're not understanding the main story. You're looking at what this other person's doing and you're not seeing your own involvement in this. So I want to go to Captain America's Civil War for this, because if I'm going to do anything in the modern day here, it's election year. Everybody's going to be in the comments down below typing nasty things, and nobody is going to pay attention to what Jesus is saying here. So this is what happened. In Avengers Age of Ultron, the Avengers saved the day, but they destroyed the city. They destroyed Sokovia. Lots of people died. The world took notice. This was the first time superheroes were bad. I mean, it wasn't that they were bad because they caused major things like villains did, but they caused massive collateral damage. They're saving the day, didn't save the day. And so the world decided they wanted to make the Sokovia Accords and register every superhero and say that you can either stand down and do nothing for the rest of your life, or you can be regulated by the UN. So the UN can tell you where to go, what to do, who to fight, and you can't. And so a lot of people, I think, when they watch this movie, they think, well, how can you not side with Iron Man? And I think that's a really incomplete picture here. So Iron Man is so distraught. He can't forgive himself for the people that died. And there's one person in particular you can't forgive. It's a kid that I think he was electrical engineer, and he died before he ever got a job. And so he can't forgive himself. So he wants the UN to take the conscience away from him. And he wholeheartedly goes in on this, and he doesn't see his friend's point. It's because he's judging his friend. And I'm not going to pull punches on Captain America either. He's judging Tony. I mean, he's judging Iron Man just as much as Iron Man is judging Steve. And we find this out at the very end very easily. It's like both people think they're being righteous here. And Steve is saying, what about the little guy? What happens if what happens if there's a disaster somewhere in the world and the UN says no? What do we do then? And that's the problem with trusting a world leader. You know, world leaders change, they come and go. World values change. And so you're at the mercy of these governments, where before you weren't. And that is the problem. And the thing is that had everybody just focused on themselves first, there wouldn't have been a civil war. There wouldn't have been superheroes against superheroes. There would have probably been a way to make everybody happy here. You know, to make it so that Captain America's fears were dealt with. But they never did that because they pointed fingers. And the sad part is that for those that have seen the MCU, how many movies is it until these two finally get along? It's a lot. And they don't get along until the very end when the Earth is almost destroyed. They don't reconcile until the very end. And that is not what God wants for us. God doesn't want us at each other's throats. And the reason for this is not to say don't judge. It's don't judge or you'll be judged back. And just imagine what would happen if everybody took that to heart. If everybody took that to heart, well, election season wouldn't be something everybody complains about. I mean, we might still have debates, but nobody would be mad after the debate, and nobody would be mad after the vote. We'd pick and we'd move on. But no, because of the judgment, because who is worthy? And the thing is everybody's worthy. If the thief on the cross is worthy, then who is not worthy? That's almost everybody that's worthy. So remember that when you're judging somebody, because it might just be you that gets judged next time. And Jesus tells us that we aren't going to live up to it.